In 2023, the U.S. military continued to strengthen its military deterrence against China, maintaining high-intensity activities, including close-in reconnaissance operations, Taiwan Strait transits, forward presence, strategic cruising, military exercises and drills, and battlefield preparation in the South China Sea and its surrounding areas. Insofar, joint operations with allies and partners and the use of unmanned systems were relatively prominent. First, CSGs. In 2023, the U.S. deployed 3 CSGs, namely USS Nimitz, USS Ronald Reagan, and USS Carl Vinson, for a total of 6 activities accessing the South China Sea. Compared to previous years, the duration of activities increased, with a preference for entering and exiting through the Bashi Channel, and the scale of the exercise and drills was expanded and the number of exercise subjects was increased. Second, ARGs. In 2023, the U.S. military successively dispatched 2 ARGs, USS Makin Island and USS America, for activities in the South China Sea. Under the concept of the Lightning Carrier, USS Makin Island, equipped with F-35B, can not only operate in synergy with CSGs, but also serve as an alternative to an aircraft carrier in some occasions, enhancing the overall operational capability of the U.S. military. Third, submarines. In 2023, the U.S. Navy deployed at least 11 nuclear attack submarines, plus 2 ballistic nuclear missile submarines for strategic cruise missions in the Western Pacific, including the South China Sea. As a means of signaling and public relations, the U.S. Navy has a growing motivation to disclose the operational status of its submarines and expose their locations. Fourth, bombers. In 2023, the U.S. Air Force conducted 30 B-52H or B-1B bomber sorties in the Western Pacific in total. Bombers operating in the region are primarily deployed at Andersen Air Force Base in Guam, but in 2023, they also operated from multiple allied and partner countries' airports. First, intensifying aerial close-in reconnaissance. In 2023, the U.S. military conducted around 1,000 sorties in various types of large reconnaissance aircraft from bases such as Osan in South Korea, Kadena in Okinawa, Andersen in Guam, and Clark in the Philippines for reconnaissance missions in the South China Sea. Among them, about 100 sorties approached the airspace near the Chinese mainland and Hainan Island, most being within 30 nautical miles of the baseline of the territorial sea. The U.S. reconnaissance aircraft also frequently disrupted the normal exercises and drills of the PLA by intruding into relevant maritime and airspace, leading to close encounters with Chinese alert forces. Second, increasingly targeted maritime reconnaissance activities. In 2023, U.S. reconnaissance ships such as ocean surveillance ships and oceanographic survey ships proceeded with more targeted routine operations in the South China Sea and kept intensified reconnaissance in the triangular area between the Paracel Islands, Spratly Islands, and the Bashi Channel, as well as the east and west lanes in the South China Sea, accumulating a total of 314 ship days. Babuyan Channel, Bird Island Passage, and Mindoro Strait, as frequently used maritime passages by U.S. CSGs in recent years, have also seen intensive reconnaissance operations by U.S. oceanographic survey ships. First, island intrusive FUNOPs. In 2023, there has been an increased frequency of the U.S. military's island intrusive FUNOPs in the South China Sea, rising to 6 times. Of note is the rare intrusion of a U.S. warship into the waters adjacent to 2nd Thomas Shoal in the Spratly Islands on December the 4th. Second, Taiwan Strait transits. Throughout 2023, U.S. warships transited the Taiwan Strait 6 times, suggesting a significant decrease compared to previous years, while there was a substantial increase in the frequency of the U.S. P-8A aircraft flyover. Besides, the diversification of naval forces transiting the strait was observed. The U.S. has conducted 3 joint transits together with Canada around the year. On June the 21st, the USCG Stratton transited the Taiwan Strait, which is the first solo transit of the Taiwan Strait by a U.S. Coast Guard vessel after 2019. First, EDCA and U.S.-Philippine military cooperation. In 2023, the U.S. has emphasized its commitment to the U.S.-Philippine military alliance repeatedly and advanced military cooperation with the Philippines through the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement. Based on promoting investment, construction, and presence in the 5 existing bases, 4 new bases will also be established and operated in the Philippines, and 3 of them are located near Taiwan. Amidst increasing tensions in areas such as Second Thomas Shoal and Scarborough Shoal, the U.S. issued official statements emphasizing its support for the Philippines. During various confrontations and frictions between China and the Philippines, the U.S. military deployed P-8A aircraft or various types of unmanned reconnaissance aircraft to provide real-time intelligence support to the latter and monitored the operations of both sides. Second, joint operations with Japan, Australia, and other allies. First, there was a growth in joint exercises and training intensity with Japan and Australia. Second, there was an emphasis on policy coordination and interoperability with Japan and Australia. Third, there has been a significant increase in arms sales to Japan and Australia. Third, strengthen regional maritime domain awareness. First, strengthening the development of unmanned combat platforms and space-based reconnaissance networks was observable. In 2023, to enhance its maritime domain awareness capabilities, the USMC Marine Air Ground Task Force was newly equipped with MQ-9A Reaper unmanned aircraft. Meanwhile, the US NMQ-4C Triton unmanned aircraft had been deployed and conducted operations in the South China Sea and the Taiwan Strait. The U.S. Space Force had accelerated the construction of its space-based satellite detection system. Second, strengthening cooperation with allies to build a situational awareness network. By providing military assistance, maritime support, and personnel training to regional countries, the U.S. continued to strengthen the maritime capabilities and expand the maritime domain awareness of other South China Sea claimants, regional allies, and partners. First, deepening participation of allied and partner countries. In 2023, the U.S. military conducted a total of 107 large-scale exercises and drills in the South China Sea and its surrounding areas, an increase in both quantity and scale compared to 2022. Second, shifting of multiple exercise locations to the Western Pacific. A number of large-scale exercises have shifted or expanded from traditional exercise areas to strategically crucial areas in the Western Pacific. Third, constantly innovating exercise subjects. In 2023, with the introduction of unmanned combat concepts represented by the U.S. Department of Defense's Replicator Initiative, the emphasis of exercises shifted towards enhancing maritime domain awareness and the use of unmanned combat platforms. Generally, the increasing military activities of the U.S. in the South China Sea pose growing risks to Sino-U.S. relations and the region as a whole. In 2024, the U.S. military will continue to increase its presence and activities in the South China Sea and its surrounding areas, and the stimulus response spiral between China and the U.S. will continue to rise.